Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nayab and today the topic of our discussion is phrasal verb. In traditional English grammar, phrasal verbs are a combination of two or more words that are from different grammatical categories. It is mostly a verb combined with either an adverb or a preposition or sometimes a combination of both. A phrasal verb is a combination of words, a verb, a preposition, and an adverb. Typically, their meaning is not obvious from the meaning of the individual words themselves. For example, she has always looked down on me. Here you can see that look is a verb, down is an adverb that is modifying the verb look, and on is a preposition. And by combining all of these, we have formed a phrasal verb. So she has always looked down on me. The second one is fighting broke out among a group of 40 men. I'll see to the animals. Don't put me off. I'm trying to concentrate. And the report spelled out the need for more staff. All the words written in the red are phrasal verbs, and as you can see, all of them are verbs combined with either an adverb or a preposition. Now, transitivity. You might be familiar with the transitive and intransitive verb. Here we also have phrasal verbs that can either be transitive or intransitive. The intransitive phrasal verbs are the one that does not necessarily need an object to convey its complete meaning. For example, we broke up 2 years ago. So this 2 years ago is not the object of this phrasal verb. If we remove the 2 years ago from this sentence and we just say we broke up, we still grab the idea of the sentence, that what the writer wants to say in this sentence. They set off early to miss the traffic. Here, if we remove early to miss the traffic and we say they set off, कि वो रवाना हो गए, we still grab the meaning of the sentence. And early to miss the traffic is not the object of this phrasal verb. He pulled up outside the cottage. The verb and adverb elements which make up intransitive phrasal verbs are never separated. Here, as we can see, the verb or adverb and the prepositions with which the verb is combined, they can't be separated. Here we have an example, don't put me off, I am trying to concentrate. Here as we can see that there is me between the put and off. But in intransitive phrasal verbs, the phrasal verbs can't be separated, like there cannot be any word that comes between the phrasal verb. Now phrasal verbs can also be transitive. For example, they can have an object. Now the transitive phrasal verbs would not be able to convey its complete meaning without an object. They would need an object to convey the meaning of the sentence. For example, the police were called to break up the fight. Now, if we remove the fight from this sentence and we just say the police were called to break up, you won't be able to grab the idea of the sentence, that what the writer wants to say in this sentence. Like the police were called to break up, but to break up what? So the police were called to break up the fight. Now the police were called to break the fight up. You can also write the sentence in this way, meaning that you can separate the phrasal verb into two things, and the fight can also come between this phrasal verb. They pulled the house down and redeveloped the site. I offered to help them, but they turned it down. Or I offered to help them, but they turned down it. So here this turn down is a phrasal verb, and it can also be written as that I offered to help them but they turned it down, or you can also say that I offered to help them but they turned down. The verb and adverb elements which make up the transitive verb phrases, we can write separate, they can be separated as well as combined. As we could see that in intransitive phrasal verbs, they couldn't be separated or you couldn't write anything between them. But in the transitive phrasal verbs, the transitive phrasal verbs can be separated, or there can be another word that you can write between them. If the direct object is a noun, you can use it both ways. If the object is a pronoun such as it, him, her, them, then the object always comes between the verb and the adverb. As we can see here, I offered to help them but they turned it down. Here the object is it. So you can't really say that I offered to help them but they turned down it. It sounds a bit awkward. You can't really say it like this. So if the object is a pronoun, it would always come between the phrasal verb. But if the object is a noun, for example, the police were called to break up the fight, you can write it in this way as well. And the police were called to break the fight up, you can write it in this way as well. So if the object is a noun, you can write it in both ways. But if the object is a pronoun, it would always come between the phrasal verb. You can't write it after the phrasal verb. It was all about the phrasal verbs. Thank you very much.